Hey guys, how's it going? I'm going to show you a quick tutorial on how you can equip your troops in your A World of Ice and Fire series with Dragonglass so that they can fight the White Walker invasion. That includes obviously the Night King, the White Walkers, and all the Wights and the White Giants and all that kind of stuff. Now, before you get started, just keep on note that this mod will update in the future, and depending when you're watching this, things may change, okay? And I can't always help you with that. Feel free to drop a question down if something's not right, and I'll get back to you when I can. And before we do anything, this is quite important, quickly go to your Mount and Blade directory. So the easiest way to do this, and this could be different for anyone depending where you've installed your game, right-click your Mount and Blade in your Steam library, press Properties, go to Local Files, and press Browse Local Files. Now, go to your Modules folder, and here you will find your A World of Ice and Fire. If your A World of Ice and Fire is not in here, it's probably because you have the Steam version, and I don't know where that would be, okay? I have used it, I have downloaded the mod before using the Steam Workshop, and I haven't actually found the folder in here. Now, please do, that is your own research, find out where your folder is, okay? And it should be the same process, okay? I'm sorry, I do not know, and I'm being completely honest. I'm doing this the way I know how to do it. Anyway, let's go to your World of Ice and Fire. So I do have a copy because my current World of Ice and Fire does have the changes, so I'm going to use a different example for this. So I have just pressed copy and paste. Let's go into this World of Ice and Fire copy, and the first thing you want to do is go to your troops.txt text folder here. Now, copy this and save it somewhere safe. Save it somewhere where you know where you'll find it again, okay? My advice, make a folder on your desktop, name the folder, I don't know, normal weapons, okay? And pop that troops.txt in here. The reason why is because once you're done with the White Walker invasion, once you've finished the Night King, if you survive, obviously you're going to want all your troops to go back to their original weapons. Now, basically, what we're going to do after all these changes, and once you're done with the Night King, you're going to get this troops.txt folder you saved before you did anything and replace it with the one that you've changed, meaning that all your troops will go back to their old equipment after you're done. Okay, awesome. So make sure you have that saved. Also, while we're here, you may as well just quickly, if your computer lets you, click the top here and just press copy all of this. It's just going to make it a bit easier when we go to the next stage. Alright, so now it's time to download the Morghs Editor. There'll be a link in the description where you can download it. And by the way, just to keep in mind, this is not a tutorial on how to use this editing tool. If you want to learn more about this editing tool, there's two tutorials which I've linked in the description. They're not mine, they are the tutorials that I use to learn how to use this, and it's very simple, and you might not even need to watch them. This is pretty self-explanatory. You might get the hang of it pretty easily. The first time you're launching it, it will ask you to locate your mod or your game. So for example, I don't have that because I have launched this before, but be the same process right here. So change module settings. Now, because we copied the thing before, you can just select all of this, even though mine is just like that already, and you can just paste or Control V, and that will basically paste the mod directory there. Awesome. And press Save Configuration. Right, so now we're going to go to the Troop Editor. Now, I'm going to show a few examples of how to do this, okay? Obviously, everyone's playthrough is either different. I'm going to assume most of you are playing as the North because everyone loves the North. Who doesn't love the North? But for example, you could be a mercenary army. You could be Dawn. You could be Westerlands, Iron Islands. You could be anywhere, okay? It doesn't matter, okay? We're going to go through a few examples. I will quickly mention this because this confused me at the time. The Night's Watch aren't called Night's Watch. So for example, this, and also by the way, this left panel is every single troop and NPC in the mod. So you can just search for stuff. So for example, if we want the Ironborn, we type in Iron, if I can type, bam, and we have all the Iron troops there, and you can see them all there. Awesome. All right, but if you want the Night's Watch troop, they're not called Night's Watch, they're called NW. And if you type that in, you will find all the Night's Watch troops, just in case you couldn't find them before. Alright, so for this example, I'm going to use the Westerland or /Lannister troops. So let's start off with a peasant. Let's click a peasant, and this will show you all of the stuff that he equips right here in this square. This is all the stuff that the peasant has equipped. Alright, probably not the best example because he does have a lot of items and lots of different versions of armor. So let's go straight to the recruit. Alright, so here we have the recruit. We can see he has the boots. I think he's got two types of boots. From the looks of it, he's got his top, and he's got his weapon. He's got his weapon right here. We don't want that. That's not going to do anything against the White Walker. So we're going to press delete on that. He can keep the shield because the shield's fine. Alright, so down here, this is the available items. This is where we're going to find the obsidian stuff. So just simply type in obsidian, or you can just type in half the word and it should find it perfectly. Alright, so here we have obsidian arrows, dagger, axe, spear, and 2 types of javelins. Do not use the no swing, okay? These aren't actual weapons. I think they're just like cosmetic. So don't use them, okay? I don't know why, but you can't use them. Anything with no swing in the name, do not use. Alright, so right here we can give, because it's only a recruit, we could probably just give him a dagger. There we go. And that is the Westerland recruit done. Let's press update troop. Job done. Right, let's move on to the foot soldier. Now, a foot soldier, a bit more strong. So let's, first of all, delete his sword. You want to make sure you delete all of the weapons that can't do anything to the White Walkers, okay? So let's delete that. And again, let's maybe give him an axe. There we go. So now he has the obsidian axe. Press update troop. There we go. If you ever make a mistake and you accidentally, for example, delete maybe his gloves, maybe you did that by accident, simply just go back, click something else and go back to it and it will come back to it, okay? There we go. Alright, so since they have, since the Westlands have crossbows, there is no obsidian bolts. So you're not going to want to use crossbows. So for this example, we'll delete the sword, we'll delete the crossbow, and we'll delete the bolts. Okay, and then we'll just either give them, maybe we'll give them a dagger again because it's just a crossbow. Let's give them some obsidian arrows, and maybe you want to give him a bow as well. So you can just type in bow, and we can just give him a, let's give him a strong bow, and that can make up for not having a crossbow. And if you want to even go a bit further, you can go into the stats here. Since the archery skill is only 40, you can bump that up to maybe 117, which is the same as the crossbow skill. You can drop that back down to 40 if you want, doesn't really matter. There we go, and that should be all, and that should be it. Job done. Press update troop, and let's move on. So basically, you understand the process here. We're going through all the troops, we're deleting their equipment that they can't use against the Wights or the White Walkers, and replacing it with obsidian stuff. Alright, so there are some other weapons in the mod that can use that you can use against the White Walkers. For example, Thoros of Mir has a flaming sword. Okay? So his sword is called the Fire Sword, okay? Or it's just number 10,044. If you want all your troops to actually have fire swords instead of, you know, maybe your character follows the Red God and you want all your troops to have flaming swords, it actually would look really, really cool. You can give them that. So for example, we have this sword here, and I just typed in Thoros to find out where he was, and then that's where you can see what equipment he uses. Alright, so now let's go back to the Westerlands. Alright, and let's go to the Lannis Guard. Okay, right. Let's take off that weapon. And let's type in fire. And let's see if we can find this fire sword. Ah, we can. Just by typing fire, there is the fire sword that Thoros uses. Let's give him that. And as also, that should be all good. So now, instead of having that weapon, they will now, instead of having that big Volg weapon, they'll have the longsword. And because they're using a polearm now, let's go to 200 skill, and let's give him also 210. Let's drop that back down to 40. There we go, and let's press update troop. So now the Lannis Guard will now have a flaming sword instead of that. Now, there are also fire arrows, and this is one of the ways that you can do this without having to do all this, is that the Night's Watchmen do have fire arrows, but saying that, they also have 2 types of arrows. If we go to the, let's go to one of the Night's Watch Rangers, no, the actual archers. So here we have the Night's Watch Ranger, and they do have the fire arrows, as you can see, but they also have the broadhead arrows, and they're not going to do anything. So what you can do is press delete that, and just replace it with more fire arrows. So that's something that you could do. This is not really cheating in my opinion. This is just giving them only fire arrows. And there we go. Don't forget to press update troops and press save once you're done all your changes. Now, if you want to go really, really overpowered, you can give your troops Valyrian steel. There's quite a few Valyrian steel weapons in the mod. By typing Valyrian, you will have a few options here. I don't know what all these options are. I haven't gone through all of them. Again, I'm not using it. I think this is a bit overpowered. Valyrian steel is a very, very powerful weapon in the mod. But again, it is your playthrough. This is the beauty of Mount and Blade. You can give them whatever you want. So there's a Valyrian great swords, long swords. There is remember, don't use the no swing one. So basically everything below here do not use. So we've got the long swords. We've got Dark Vengeance. I don't know what that is. Remember, there are some other Valyrian steel swords which have different names. For example, Ice, which is the Stark Valyrian steel sword. And I think that there's half Spain as well. I'm not sure if it's in this list, but yeah, again, if you're looking for a certain item and you can't find it, it may take some searching. So definitely keep that in mind. Anyway, I think I'm all done here. I'm going to press save changes. There we go. I'm going to launch my game now, and let's go check out my new troops with all of their fancy gear. Alright, so we're in game, and now before you do anything, a really quick way to check if this has worked is go to your camp and press troop tree. Now obviously these aren't all the troops, there are obviously custom troops to certain settlements, but these are all the basic factions. So for example, we did Westerlands, so if we go to Westerlands, and we go and check out the levies, you can actually check all of their equipment. So as you know, we replaced their sword with an obsidian dagger, and that's what we've got just there. And you can press this to press show what it is. And you can see it's absolutely terrible, but it's obsidian. You also got to remember the obsidian stuff isn't that good. All right, let's go check out. Oh yeah, don't worry about that. That was for a stream that I did. That was actually a lot of fun. So here we have just the men at arms, and as you can see, the obsidian axe again swings 23. Not the best, but again, at least it kills them. And now if we go to the crossbowmen, you can see that they actually have a bow. And you can change, you can play around and find out which bow you want. If there's like if there's an archer from a different faction and you like their bow, you can just search them up and see what type of bow they're using and just use it for your troop as well. But as you can see, using the obsidian arrows and also has some obsidian dagger. Now I must have missed the pikeman, but again, this takes a bit of, this does take a few goes to make sure you got it all right. But if we go to the elite pikeman, as you can see, we replace their pike with a flaming sword, and that's what we're going to test right now. We're going to go into battle and see how it looks. Alright, so we're on the battle map. Let's take a look at our troops. First of all, we got our elite pikemen with the flaming swords, and they actually look really cool. Actually, I might have to do this for myself. This looks super cool. So as you can see, yep, all the flaming swords. Now, obviously, I would love to use this as an example against the actual wights, but as you know, the wight walker invasion hits on turn 700, and I'm not going to do that on my current playthrough. I don't want to mess anything up. But as you can see, we have the crossbowmen with their bows instead of the crossbows, because again, there's nothing you can do with the crossbows, unfortunately, against the wights. But there we go, as well as the men at arms with the obsidian axes as well. So all of these troops here will be able to kill wights, which is really cool. And as well, it does work with Valyrian steel, but again, that's a bit overpowered. But it depends what you want to do. All right, well, I'm just going to charge my men in. Let's see how well they do against these thieves. I'm sure they'll do just fine. And as you can see, they are doing just fine. Everyone seems to be doing their job just fine. Wonderful. Alright, so let's go and make our own troop. Say you want to get your own troops. Say maybe you don't want to change, maybe you don't have the time to go and change all the troops, you know, to obsidian weapons. Maybe you want to have just your own special unit just for this. So, as you know, World of Ice and Fire is pretty unique. A lot of settlements have their own custom troops. For example, if you have Winterfell, you can get the Stark troop line. If you have Pike, you can get the Kraken Guard. The Karstarks have their own Karstark troops, same with the Boltons, and it's the same for like a lot of settlements. And the good thing about this is that only you will have these, unless the lord that owns that place is still alive, and they may have those troops as well. The reason why is because when you make your own troops, you're normally adding it onto an existing troop line, and the only problem with that is that other lords will have those troops. So, for example, the Northguard that I made, I added it on to the Free Folk troop line. So basically, all the other Free Folk lords then had those Northguard troops, which were, in my playthrough, were a special unit. They were a very unique troop. So let's go into the Morphs Editor once again, and let's go and look for something. First of all, you can find a template. If there's a troop in the mod that you kind of want to base it off, this is a very good start, because you can basically copy all of their stats and stuff like that. So thinking of a pretty good unit just on the top of my head, the White Harbour Knights, they're pretty powerful. So let's type in white, and we can find the White Harbour Knights. Right, now let's go and add troop. Alright, so first of all, this is the troop ID, and this is what you'll be calling it. Let's call it White Walker Killer. Yeah, let's go with that. And basically just copy that. There we go. And we want this to be a part of we want this to be a part of the Westerland troop line. Let's go to Westerland troop line. There we go. And here you go, you can delete all of their stuff and you can give them gear from the very start. So for example, my Northguard, they had the wolf armor. They had a very cool looking wolf looking armor. So let's go and give them that. You know what? And we'll give them both variations of the armor so it looks cool. Next we're going to type in helmet, and you can give him any helmet you want. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to give him the same helmet that I had. I think it was this one, or it might have been that one. Again, I don't know. Let's give him some gloves. There we go, some leather gauntlets. Type in some boots. Let's give him some boots. And let's just give him some plate boots. There we go. I'm going to type in shield now. I'm just going to give him a shield again. This may take some searching if you want to find the right shield for you. But I'm just going to give him, let's just give him a round shield. And now let's give him a, you know what, let's be overpowered. Let's give him Valerian steel swords. Again, I don't know what all these ones are, but I'm going to give him this one. You know what, let's give them two. They have two different types. There we go. So we've got the armor, the helmet, the gauntlets, the shield, and the sword. And you know what, let's give him some obsidian javelins as well, just to be overpowered. All right, here we can play around the stats. Let's make him let's make him absolutely ridiculous. Let's just make him super strong. All right, and one-handed skill. Let's just give it absolutely nuts. Let's just go insane. There we go. We don't really need to touch the rest of it. Iron flesh, iron strike. Let's just pop it up all to 9. There we go. Now at the bottom here, we can press ranged, and we don't want a horse. We're going to, because we took the horse away, and that should be all good. Now, let's add this troop. And now, this troop will now be at the bottom of the list. So if you get rid of white and press go again, your new troops will always be at the bottom of the list, okay? It's always going to be at the bottom, okay? Alright, now let's go to the Westerland troops once again. Let's go to that pikeman that we changed, and let's add this troop to that tree line. So what we'll do, we'll go to upgrade path, and we'll go right to the bottom, and we'll add the White Walker Killers to there. There we go, and press update troop. Now, these Westerland pikemen, the elite pikemen which have the flaming swords which we just gave to, they will now be able to upgrade to the White Walker Killers, the new troops that we just made. So let's hop back in game and see what they look like. Also, I did just check before, I didn't press save changes. Make sure you press save changes at the end or nothing will happen. Now, you can actually stay in game, by the way, so if you press save and exit, minimize, and then make your changes, you can load back in, and the changes will be made. Okay, so there we go. So let's go to troop tree. Let's go to the Westerlands, and as you can see here, we have our new White Walker Killers. Oh my god, that is insane. I didn't even know that was in the game, but there we go. So that is our new White Walker Killer. I want to see. I really want to see these guys in action. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the power of cheats, upgrade my troops to these new troops, and I'm going to see them in action. All right, found some more thieves to take out. This should be absolutely hilarious. So I've got 13 of these absolute mad troops here. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing how insane they are. And just for example, so as you know, we did add 2 different types of armor and helmets, and you can see them both on here, and they will pick them out by random. So as you can see, there's one version of the wolf armor, and there's the second, and both the different versions of the helmet. We have like sort of the smooth top, and we have sort of like the square top. So yeah, again, if you want your troops to have a bit of you know, difference like this, that is how you do that, by just adding different variants of the equipment. All right, let's see these guys in action. You know, we're not here to see them throw javelins. We're here to see them in action. Let's see how. Oh my god, it's going to be insane. As you can see, just it's not even a competition. It's not even a competition. So we've just that is one way how to make completely overpowered troops. But again, do what you want, really. Have fun with it. These weapons are really cool. I actually might have to get some of those myself. But yeah, anyway, there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you learned anything, let me know. I'll be happy to do more of these in the future. If you want to learn a bit more about it, I can maybe do some more stuff in the future. And also keep in mind, so for example, in my position of my series, I am a lord of many vassals of different factions, so I did have to go through the entire Iron Islander troop tree, the entire North troop tree, the Stark troop tree, and as well as the Dragonstone. So again, it can take a bit of time, but once you get the hang of it, it is really quick, and you may have to double check sometimes. Definitely double check, because you don't want to be on the battlefield fighting the White Walkers, realizing that half your troops don't have weapons that can kill them with. So yeah, definitely keep that in mind. Anyway, guys, I'll end the series. I'll end the episode there. Episode's not even an episode. You know what I mean. Anyway, guys, I hope you liked it. If you did, drop a like and a comment, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.